We showed you what ID thieves can do to you. Wait till you see how we turn the tables on them. Good evening and welcome to Dateline. I'm Stone Phillips.
And I'm Ann Curry. Tonight, the latest in our year-long investigation into identity theft. It's a fast-growing crime that threatens everyone because police say ID thieves are difficult to stop, almost impossible to catch.
So we decided to try to lure these thieves out into the open, or at least within sight of Dateline's hidden cameras. Would it work? Here's Chris Hansen.
We're on the hunt for a new kind of predator. Wendy, the apparent mastermind of an international identity theft ring. So far, the search has taken us clear across the country, and tonight, it's about to take us around the world. Undercover in Europe and Africa, as we track down the crooks who steal your credit card and banking information to go on shopping sprees with your money.
Right now, they're buying and selling personal identities.
I started the search for Wendy after I saw something most Americans never see.
We have her credit card number, expiration, mother's maiden name.
Internet security expert Dan Clements took us on a tour inside illegal underground internet chat rooms.
Social security number, date of birth, and PIN.
Where we watched in amazement as computer hackers and identity thieves actually bought and sold your most personal information.
They're selling logins to bank account. Barclays, Wells Fargo, HSBC, all the large banks are here to be bought and sold.
So somebody could get this information, log on to somebody's account, and take their money.
Drain their account.
And Clements says the thieves don't need to steal your actual credit card anymore. They just need the information. So if a hacker can crack a computer at a bank or store, he can download all the data he needs to steal countless identities.
A massive consumer data theft.
Just last week, the company that owns the popular retail chains TJ Maxx and Marshalls disclosed that hackers may have stolen 45 million credit card records. But Clement says anyone with access to your personal information can cash in using the Internet Underground.
It could be the clerk, could be the waiter in your restaurant, could be the clerk at the car rental. They have access to this information.
Thousands of times a day, millions of times a year, credit cards are maxed out, bank accounts drained with stolen identities. So Dateline set out to track down some of those thieves. We began our investigation a year ago. First step, dangle some bait. We got a major credit card issuer to help us. We made up some names, and they gave us real cards under those fake names. Next step, have Dan Clements pretend to be a crook who stole our credit cards. We watched as he offered up those cards in that high-tech den of thieves.
You ready?
Ready.
Halfway across the country, a fraud investigator from the credit card company let us know as soon as the crooks took the bait and started using our cards.
They're hitting it.
The results? Astonishing. Cards maxed out in minutes. One of our bait credit cards carried the fake name Oscar Ernesto.
Okay, we have a hit on Ernesto for $723.74.
Wow.
1 minute, 3 seconds.
The fraudulent charges were coming from almost everywhere.
We had purchases in 16 different countries.
Every continent except for Antarctica, basically.
Identity theft hitting Americans from foreign soil is big business.
Big business that costs consumers billions and businesses tens of billions worldwide. Just ask Rodrigo Bustos in Chile. His store was hit by crooks using one of our bait cards. We covered that charge, but he says his bank has made him absorb thousands in losses to identity thieves.
They said, it's your fault. You must pay to us because you didn't confirm it was the real owner of the credit card.
Authorities say in most cases it's virtually impossible to identify the thieves, but Dateline decided to try. To lure the crooks in, we set up our own online store.
At HansenDiscountElectronics.com.
And let the thieves know that it was a good place to use stolen credit cards.
The message says, cardable site.
So if you've got a hot credit card number, you can use it here.
Right.
The fraudulent orders poured in, real thieves using accounts stolen from real people like Lee Morton.
I was checking to see if I could afford to go out to dinner, and I had no money.
No money?
No money.
Lee Morton's account was drained overnight by a series of online purchases. Dateline's store didn't actually charge Lee or anyone else, but we did send out the merchandise in order to track down the thieves. I even set up my own shipping company, CH Delivery, and began fanning out across the country to deliver the loot. I hoped the deliveries would lead us right to the thieves' doorsteps, but instead I met people like Vicky Bebo.
This is the correct address for college? Yes.
And Angela Cater.
Look at this crap.
So you got it.
Both said they thought they were doing a favor for a man they met on the internet.
Let's get married, you know, I really love you, I miss you, and it's mushy mushy all the time.
But it turns out Angela and Vicky were talking to the same man, an international internet thief. Using this picture and calling himself Paul Desmond, he has tricked them into accepting all this stuff and had asked them to forward it to his store overseas. And the more deliveries I made, the more I heard about those mysterious stores.
They're going to Africa.
What's that?
All these are going to be shipped to Africa.
Oh, they're going to Africa. In upstate New York, Jeff Ball told us he's been getting lots of packages for his international business partner, Wendy Hansen.
I got a picture of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd love to see it. Wow. That's exotic, man.
He told us Wendy is a model who wants to marry him. Over the internet, she told him she ran an international business and he could make money if he'd help her send packages to locations all over the world, including a shipment to Africa, a home theater system so big the shipping bill was more than $2,000. He agreed to pay that and thousands more. But as we talk, Jeff Ball doesn't seem to be aware that the packages being shipped to his house in Wendy Kenson's name have been ordered with stolen credit cards. So it's a bitter dose of reality when we tell him the truth.
And it appears, based upon our investigation, Jeff, that you've gotten caught up in an international conspiracy.
I got caught up in the scam.
Now we're hoping that Jeff Ball will be willing to turn on Wendy and the thieves who scammed him.
Will you help me?
Yeah, I will help you.
But our search won't stop here in the U.S. To try to track down Wendy and her gang of thieves, we'll have to follow the trail of the packages overseas.
My name is Chris, and I wanted to ask you about a package.
Go back to your inbox for checking.
Jeff Ball is pouring through his records, trying to help Dateline crack an international identity theft ring. We're on the hunt for Wendy, the woman in these seductive photos who conned Jeff into shipping what turned out to be merchandise purchased with stolen credit cards, like an expensive home theater system, so big it cost more than $2,000 to ship, all the way to West Africa. We're on the trail of that home theater system because we think it might lead us to Wendy, down this dusty road in the tiny African nation of Benin. Benin, a former French colony, a hub back during the time of the slave trade, and today, increasingly, a hub for identity thieves.
Busy African markets like this is where some of the merchandise purchased with stolen American credit cards can show up. The identity thieves didn't pay a dime for the things they got, so even if they sell them cheap, they still make a huge profit.
It's not an easy or a safe place for American journalists to operate. We're not sure who we can trust, don't know if the criminals have corrupted any local officials. So we proceed with caution.
Which one is it? I think it's this one over here.
Down this road, we find the address where Wendy told Jeff Ball to ship the home theater system. The home of a man named Mr. Chow.
Chow. Yeah, Chow lives there?
Yeah.
Do you know
A
him?
neighbor tells us Mr. Chow is at work.
He's working port.
At where? At the port?
Yes.
And what does he do at the port?
Some people come from Nigeria, come meet here to buy cars.
So he buys the cars and sells them in Nigeria?
Yes.
Do you think it's okay if we go back and ask? Yeah.
Apparently, Mr. Chow is involved in the import-export business. It certainly doesn't look like he's got a theater system at his home down this alley.
We were asking about a delivery, a big delivery.
From DHL, the
DHL.
shipping company. It was a big home theater, television set.
Television fi no sa o edo kwede we no sa television o yaji. She said that she didn't know. People can come back in the evening
and talk
see
to
him by himself. Talk to him.
Bonsoir. So later that evening, we do come back. But Mr. Chow hasn't come home.
Yes.
Oh, Pascal, that's right. We talked earlier. Yeah. Is Mr. Chow around? Is he here?
No, it's not him. I don't know when he will be back.
I get Mr. Chow's cell phone number.
Merci.
Mr. Chow. Oui. My name is Chris, and I wanted to ask you about a package that DHL says was delivered to you in October. It was a home theater system. Did you receive that package? Mr. Chow admits he did get it. So you did actually receive the home theater system in October. But he doesn't want to say where it went. From when you received it, where did the home theater system go after it came to your house? I'm sorry, you did receive it? All right, thank you very much. Bye now. Well, he had to go. By now it's clear we're going to have a tough time finding Wendy and the thieves by tracking down a package after it's been delivered. But we want to get as close to the thieves as we can. So we decide to follow a package from the very start.
I already boxed up the shoes and stuff.
Back in California, Vicky Bebo has been collecting packages for her online boyfriend, Paul. But now she realizes she's been scammed too. And like Jeff Ball, Vicky has agreed to work with us to track a shipment. Paul still thinks he has her on the hook, so he's asking her to send another shipment. He's ordered this Xbox from our online store, again with a stolen credit card. And in this instant message, he tells Vicky he wants it sent to that same small country in Africa, Benin.
238 state.
Put a dab of hot glue.
To help follow the package, we install sophisticated tracking devices and hide them inside. A transmitter will send out a signal and we'll hear a beeping noise on this receiver whenever the package is nearby. On the outside, we mark the box with distinctive yellow stickers. Next, we take it to a DHL office near Vicky's home in California. 3 days later, the DHL website shows the package is in Africa. And remember, so are we. Our tracker locates the signal of our Xbox in the customs building at the airport. But a few hours later, the signal disappears, and the DHL website says our package has been picked up.
Okay, a little bit more. Slow down.
So we set off in search of our Xbox. First stop, the address where it was supposed to be delivered. Turns out it's a lawyer's office.
Looking for Monsieur Uso Emerson?
The receptionist says he doesn't have a clue what we're talking about, knows nothing about the package, doesn't even recognize the name.
No? So you don't know the name?
And what about this address? What's more, he says the shipping address seems to be phony, intentionally jumbled. Although the street name and number match this office, the zip code and town are all wrong. And when we double check at the local post office, they confirm the address isn't real. Next stop, DHL. Maybe they know where our Xbox went.
Bonjour.
Morning, I'm trying to track a package that I had shipped. The customer rep checks the computer and calls out to the airport where they confirm that package was picked up by the man it was addressed to.
Okay, so he's the one that picked it up at the airport.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
It's what they put in the system. But I see that you are English people, so I think maybe you want to know more. That's why
No. I'm very appreciative, and I thank you very much. Now we're more baffled than ever. So we ask the local police if they can help us find our package. They send an investigator to the airport, but he's told to come back later. At Benin's National Police Headquarters, the director admits these internet frauds are among his country's biggest problems.
This is a form of organized crime.
Andy says his country has fallen victim to criminals from the country next door, Nigeria, a well-known haven for identity thieves. But why would Nigerian criminals use another country as a drop point for stolen goods?
There's been so much publicity about rip-off schemes from Nigeria that many of the thieves have discovered it can sometimes be difficult to get people in the United States to ship there. So some of the thieves have come here, to Benin, a tiny West African country most people don't know anything about.
They use Benin because our country is a little weak. It's a small country, and we don't have great resources to investigate.
Authorities say most of the fraud originates in internet cafes like this one. We were able to get a rare look inside with Dateline's hidden cameras.
Look, 1 hour.
In an email or instant message, a thief can hide behind a computer screen and pretend to be anyone, anywhere. Someone sitting here in Africa could even steal a picture off the internet and become Paul, or even Wendy. And while some of the people we see in this internet cafe may be perfectly honest, some even tourists, police say criminal rings conduct their business here, stealing from Americans half a world away. And that brings us back to our Xbox package with the tracker inside. Still no sign of it.
An official is very sympathetic, and he's willing to help.
The police go back to the airport, and believe it or not, they're told our package has mysteriously been found, still inside customs, as if it had never left the building. That's odd. Remember, just yesterday, DHL told us it had been picked up.
And so he picked it up on the 5th?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, so it was actually him.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So which story is true? To double check, we go to the airport and arrange to see the package ourselves. It looks like it's had a rough trip, but the tracker inside is still putting out a strong signal. Police sources tell us they think the thieves heard we were asking questions and decided the package must be hot. To avoid being caught, they apparently smuggled it back inside customs and left it. The criminals are trying to duck us, but we have another option to catch up with them, and it involves Jeff Ball, the man in New York, and Wendy, the thief who stole his money and his heart.
I must get home this weekend, okay? I really miss you.
We've been all the way to Africa searching for Wendy and her international identity theft ring. We traced packages with loot ordered by the thieves.
It was a big home theater.
Merchandise that seemed to disappear.
And so he picked it up on the 5th?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Then mysteriously boomeranged back, maybe because the thieves knew we were onto them. But maybe there's another way to find Wendy and her gang of thieves.
Hey, how are you today? Got some deliveries?
And it involves Jeff Ball, the New York man apparently tricked into becoming a middleman by the identity theft ring.
That's Wendy.
We come up with the plan after we see the email history between Wendy and Jeff. It's clear whoever is sending the emails is a master scammer.
My heart told me that my Prince Charming was there when you first said hello to me.
Along with the love letters and those provocative pictures, Wendy cleverly mixes in pleas for help in somewhat broken English.
Let me come back home this week, because that's my prayer always.
In one email, Wendy says she's in Australia, but wants to come home to be with Jeff.
I must get home this weekend, okay? I really miss you.
But believe it or not, on her way to the airport, the unthinkable happens. Wendy says she's in an auto accident.
Wendy's sick, hospital. Please pray for me.
Through her pain, Wendy pleads with Jeff to send money to pay for the surgery to save her life.
Because I don't want to lose my hand, and I don't want to lose my life. And you, please.
In the end, Jeff Ball actually wired thousands of dollars to Australia, supposedly for Wendy's surgeon, Dr. J. Jack. Dateline checked in Australia, and we couldn't find any licensed doctor by that name. Another sign that Wendy is part of an even larger con. All you have to do is check the emails. In the special coding most of us never read, there's usually an identification number that tells you where the computer that sent the email is located. It's a little like the caller ID on your phone. Remember, Wendy's been claiming she's in Australia. But when Dateline checks the coding on her emails, they really trace back to, guess where? West Africa.
Babe, please pack everything together. I mean all the packages.
We're beginning to wonder, could Wendy be a mask for a man?
And wait for DHL to come, okay?
Send me all the packages list to me, okay? To my email and tracking number, okay?
Now we see how Jeff was tricked into sending packages all over the world. But we're about to turn the tables on the thieves behind Wendy. Remember, they think we're for real. They've been ordering from our online store. They've even used our delivery company to send some of their loot all the way to Switzerland.
I cannot sleep tonight without thinking of you.
And now we've convinced Jeff Ball to let us take over his email.
I love you with my whole heart.
From now on, when Wendy talks to Jeff, she's really talking to Dateline. Our first step, borrow one of Wendy's tricks and say Jeff is in the hospital.
Bad news. Had a hunting accident and in hospital. Pray for me.
Wendy is expecting more packages from Jeff, and she thinks our company will be handling the delivery. She's so desperate to find out about her packages, she sends an email directly to Chris at CH Delivery.
Hello, Chris. Because I am in Australia, I am seriously worried, and we have a lot of shipment to ship to Switzerland. Please kindly help me to check on him.
It's the opening we've been waiting for. Between updates about Jeff's health, we've come up with a plan to get us closer to Wendy and her gang. To whet their appetite, I'll say I've just inherited a lot of money, and I'm interested in investing some of it in Wendy's company. Wendy, I would like to invest in your business, but I don't think it's wise to invest in any business until I can meet the owner in person. Please let me know when and where you can meet. It isn't long before Wendy responds, and she seems to be going for the bait.
I will be glad to assist you invest your funds.
After months undercover, are we about to meet Wendy, the international identity thief, face to face?
So how many years in Australia?
19.
We've decided to give the identity thieves a dose of their own medicine. Our mark? Wendy Hansen, the supposed boss of an identity theft ring.
For Wendy Hansen?
Who conned Jeff Ball into shipping thousands of dollars in merchandise ordered with stolen credit cards. But now we're turning the tables. I've sent Wendy an email saying I've inherited a small fortune and want to invest in her shipping business. And Wendy is quick to take the bait.
Hello, Mr. Chris. Thanks for your email. I am happy you want to invest with me.
But to seal the deal, I tell her we'll need to talk face to face. Finally, Wendy agrees to a meeting in Zurich, Switzerland.
I will be glad to assist you invest your funds in valuable and profitable business.
But mysteriously, Wendy says she won't be able to make it there herself. Instead, she's sending her trusted Swiss lawyer, Barrister Michael.
My attorney is ready to meet you at the hotel on Friday afternoon. I have already explained everything to him.
Yes, Barrister Michael.
I happen to be in London when I call Barrister Michael to confirm.
I'll call you as soon as I get to Zurich, but let's plan on a 2 p.m. meeting on Friday.
That's when we notice something about his phone number. Remember the package we delivered for Wendy in Switzerland? Wendy gave a contact number for the person receiving the stolen merchandise, and it's exactly the same phone number she gave us for her lawyer. Another sign Barrister Michael is directly involved in Wendy's identity theft ring.
Switzerland, the legendary land of secret bank accounts. It's here in Zurich that we'll try to track down the man who could be one of the masterminds behind the international theft ring, the man Wendy calls her trusted attorney.
Barrister Michael?
Well?
Yes.
With our hidden cameras, we meet Barrister Michael in a hotel lobby, and he's brought along a friend, a woman who seems confused about her own name.
Doris.
Edith Doris, yes.
Edith, Doris, whatever, but not Wendy. We take them upstairs to a hotel suite equipped with more hidden cameras. Hey, how are you? Barrister Michael, nice to see you. Chris Hansen,
pleasure.
it's a pleasure. Nice to see you. Please come in.
Doris Knight, no?
Hey, Doris, nice to see you. I try to get right down to business and ask Wendy's lawyer what he can tell me about her.
Wendy Hansen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she was also in Switzerland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, how did you meet Wendy originally?
I met her last year.
Oh, here in
She came to
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
So I met
But the barrister seems more interested in talking about the woman he's brought along, Doris. She may not be a swimsuit model, but like Wendy, she says she's lived in Australia. And like Wendy, she has a business proposition for me. Your business is what now?
My business is in the solar energy trade.
Solar energy?
Yes.
Doris tells me she wants to market a solar-powered battery charger. Not exactly what we came here to talk about, but who knows where this will lead. So this is the product right here?
This is the product.
Oh, really?
It just arrived.
Wow, really? She tells me it works with all kinds of devices.
You can recharge mobile phones, iPods, CD players, cameras.
Nancy?
Yeah. I'll tell you something else. It has a normal light, and it has a UV light.
What's more, she claims it can even detect counterfeit money. It's quite a gadget.
Yeah.
Doris says she wants to market it in the Middle East and Africa, but she doesn't seem to have much of a plan. And do you have a business plan that you've written out? Or?
Well, the business plan is quite simple. Yeah, that we need to make a business plan together.
Right. What she really seems to want is $200,000 from me. And when would I start seeing a return on my $200,000 investment?
6 months to 12.
6 to 12 months.
And what's the
I tell Doris I'll think about it, but I'd rather find out more about Wendy and her lawyer. He says he's from South Africa. Which law school did you go to?
That was Johannesburg Law School.
Johannesburg Law School?
Yeah.
Right. What year did you graduate?
It's quite a long time.
Well.
It's quite a long time.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 36 years.
36, okay.
Yeah.
So probably...
It's about 20 years ago.
20 years ago. Hold on. This doesn't add up. He's 36 and got his law degree 20 years ago when he was 16? He catches himself.
No, I said 20 years ago, about 16 years ago, I mean.
16 years ago. Yeah.
Because I started my education really
I was going to say, 20 years ago, you'd have been a 16-year-old lawyer. What's going on? Who is this man? Wendy calls him her trusted lawyer, but is he really a lawyer at all? And what kind of cases do you usually handle?
Criminal cases.
Criminal cases. Sounds fitting. But remember, we're really here to smoke out Wendy Hansen, the face of this international identity theft ring. So I push this supposed barrister. Where is Wendy now? Is she still in Australia? I think the last time?
No, the last time she called me, she told me she was in Europe, that she wanted to come to Switzerland, that she was in Paris or so.
Yeah.
She wanted to come to Switzerland, but then I wasn't.
Not exactly a straight answer. So I pressed Barrister Michael for details of the proposed investment I'm supposed to make with Wendy.
It's quite confidential.
But he doesn't seem comfortable talking about Wendy when Doris is in the room.
I would like to see in private pertaining to Wendy.
So Barrister Michael asks Doris to leave so he can talk about Wendy's secrets with no one else around. We'll be in touch, okay? Great. Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate it. You have a fine day. Now that Doris is gone, we're hoping to get the lowdown on Wendy. And we're about to lower the boom on this identity theft gang. I think you came here to scam me out of $200,000.
No.
Our investigation has brought us to Zurich, Switzerland, where finally, after months of investigating, we're in a private meeting with a man who may be a key player in an international identity theft ring run by someone called Wendy. So Wendy's business primarily is electronics.
Electronics.
And
exactly.
shipping of electronics.
Exactly.
He says he's the lawyer for Wendy Hansen, Barrister Michael, and he's meeting me because I've said I want to invest in Wendy's shipping business.
Stuff like this, shipping down to Switzerland, to Holland, to England, and believe me, she's really doing quite good in this thing.
I'm expecting to hear more about the shipping business, but instead, he brings up another scheme entirely, and it involves a friend of Wendy's, a friend in need.
She's Portuguese, Italian.
Right.
She came into Switzerland, but she had some problems, you know.
Problems, he says, like illegally laundering drug money. And a whole load of that dirty money, he says, is now sitting in a safe.
How much money are we talking about?
It's quite much.
Millions?
Yeah, we're talking about six. She told me 6.5 million US.
6.5 million. Wow.
A big part of that 6.5 million could be mine, he says. All I have to do is cough up $45,000 to pay bank fees.
I would pay Wendy, or I would pay you, or this other woman.
This other woman.
Right.
But of course, you have to pay my own charges, at least a consultant fee.
Right. Well, I'm listening.
This sounds more and more like those Nigerian get-rich-quick schemes we exposed just a couple of weeks ago.
Anthony, I'd like to talk to you.
And that's not why we came to Zurich. Remember, I'm here to talk about Wendy's shipping business, and I want to let Barrister Michael know I'm not about to be swindled. Maybe it's time to make him sweat a little.
I wanted to ask you some other questions about Wendy's business. Now, I presume you know a little bit about it, what she does in electronics.
Not really too much.
Wendy's lawyer now claims he doesn't know much about her shipping business, but I ask anyway.
But as a barrister, can I just ask your advice on something?
I show him some of the orders to Wendy that were placed with stolen credit cards.
Here again. Wait, let me show you this one here, okay? This woman said she didn't know anything about Wendy Hansen, never met her, didn't know anything about it, but her card was used illegally to purchase this. What about that?
It's funny,
It's funny, huh?
No.
I explain that time after time, we found people who told us they never approved electronics orders for Wendy. Remember Lee Morton?
You know anybody named Wendy Kenson?
No.
So as a barrister, what does that say to you? How would you advise me on this?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't really know much.
Right.
But this looks... But you call these people...
Right, and they said, we didn't charge it. Our card was used illegally. Somebody got a hold of our card number and used it.
There must be something funny about it.
Now, even her lawyer admits there might be something funny about Wendy's business. And suddenly, Barrister Michael acts as if he barely knows Wendy at all.
Well, what does that say about Wendy?
Well, as I said earlier, I knew her when
Right.
she came to Switzerland. She has to introduce this lady to me.
Right. How many times do you figure you talked on the phone or?
She called me some few months ago when she was telling me she's somewhere in Europe.
And what about those eye-catching photos Wendy sends, supposedly of herself? Barrister Michael acts as if he's never seen them.
Now, I want you to take a look at this. Do you recognize her?
She has a black hair.
But do you recognize the woman in that photo?
No.
That is Wendy.
But she has a black hair.
But that's not the Wendy you know. No?
This is getting stranger by the minute. Not only does Wendy's so-called lawyer claim not to know about her identity theft operation, now he doesn't even recognize Wendy. It's time to put an end to this charade.
I think it would be a good time for you to tell me the truth.
After months of trying to smoke out Wendy, the master identity thief, finally I'm face to face with her supposed lawyer, Barrister Michael. I'm not going to let this opportunity go. So I tell Michael I think he's told me nothing but lies.
I'm investigating an extensive international credit card fraud and identity theft ring. You have now surfaced in this operation. I think it would be a good time for you to tell me the truth about why you came here today.
But that was what... I told you why I came, okay?
I know, but I want the truth this time.
No, that's the truth. You can call her.
This whole thing is falling apart here.
No, because I don't understand all this. I told you if I would know her, I would tell you this is the one. I already told you what she told me.
Let me tell you a few things.
Huh?
Number one, I don't think there's really a Wendy. Number two, I don't think you're really a barrister. And number three, I think you came here to scam me out of $200,000.
No.
But I tell him I'm not buying into his get-rich-quick scheme he claimed would make me millions of dollars.
I don't think there's $6.5 million sitting at a security company in London.
See, the fact is, I have to be open to you. That was what she wrote me on the mail.
So you didn't check it out yourself?
No, to be serious.
Are you actually a barrister?
To be serious. I have to tell you the truth.
Are you actually a barrister?
I'm not a barrister.
Then you lied to me.
Yeah, of course I lied. But that was what she told me. She wrote me. I have to
So now it's Wendy's fault. So you lied about being a barrister because a woman who doesn't exist told you to lie? Michael. Is that your real name? I don't even know if that's your real name. Is your real name Michael?
Huh?
Is your real name Michael?
No, people call me Michael, but it's not my real name.
What is your real name?
My real name is Lukman.
I'm sorry?
So Wendy's lawyer, Michael, is not a lawyer after all. And his name's not Michael. And guess what? He isn't from South Africa either.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Nigeria.
From Nigeria.
Nigeria, a country famous for scams. Remember, computer records back at our online store show that most of the orders made in the name of Wendy Hansen were actually placed from computers in Nigeria and West Africa, likely from internet cafes like this one. We went there with hidden cameras after authorities told us it was a hotbed of crime. So it's clear we really are onto an international gang of con artists and identity thieves who've been hiding behind this photo of the supposed Wendy.
And what about all this stuff about law school and...
That's what he told me to say, you know. Everybody
She told you
lies.
to say all that.
Yeah.
Everybody lies, so
Everybody
it's okay.
lies.
So it's okay. Listen.
You.
Wendy does not exist, okay? At least I don't think she exists. This person posing as Wendy has been ripping people off for a long time.
Probably.
Finally, an admission that Wendy, the face of the international crime ring, is a fiction, a ruse, just a pretty picture to con people.
Right. So you never really met Wendy?
Yeah, it's just...
You don't even know if Wendy really exists? Did you or did you not lie to me?
I lied to you.
Okay.
I know that. I know that I lied to you. I'm sorry about that. But
remember, he still doesn't know that all this time we've been recording on hidden cameras. Now it's time to let Barrister Michael, whoever he is, know he's been exposed.
I'm Chris Hansen, and I work for a show called Dateline NBC.
Dateline.
And those are my cameras. And if there's anything else you'd like to say, we'd like to hear it. If not, you're free to go.
Well, what do you want me to say?
Oh, whatever you want to say.
In the end, the barrister who isn't wants you to believe he's not a bad guy after all. And in spite of his repeated lies, he has an interesting message about telling the truth.
Well, I just believe lying or stuff like this to people is not the right thing.
And so we were here doing something that wasn't the right thing today.
No, I believe I lied to you.
Right. So you've never lied to anybody else. I was the first guy you lied to.
Of course I lie. Everybody lies. Of course. Of course.
He says he's sorry, though we think he's just looking for an easy exit. One soldier in an army of identity thieves scattered across the globe. We don't have the power to arrest him, so he walks free. Internet security expert Dan Clement says that's pretty much how it goes in the world of identity thieves.
These are very intelligent people, these identity thieves, but they know that the prosecutions for identity theft are less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
But U.S. officials say they're trying to change that.
This is a priority for us.
Craig McGaw of the Secret Service says federal agents have infiltrated criminal chat rooms to break up identity theft rings.
Anybody and everybody that's on those websites are involved in criminal activity. There is no legitimate business being conducted on those websites.
Right now, he says, the Secret Service is running 15 undercover operations. The FBI and other agencies are also investigating these crimes. But with identity thieves spanning the globe and stealing at internet speed, it's harder than ever for authorities to keep up. Just look at this email Dan Clement showed us, announcing that one of the biggest chat rooms in the thieves' underground is moving its computers to Iran.
And that email that we just received was basically saying, hey guys, we're hosted in Iran. We're untouchable to the U.S. government. Come over here. Iranian servers, which are clearly outside a subpoena
Never get
from the
anywhere
US.
there.
Never.
Wherever the Wendy gang is these days, clearly we hit a nerve with them. Soon after Barrister Michael admitted it was all a big lie, I got an email from none other than Wendy.
Up, Chris, so you have to set me up.
You riot in hellfire. Dead man, I direct you to unknown people.
As for Wendy herself, looks like she really is just a pretty picture the thieves used as part of their con. A tip from a viewer led us to a European website where we saw the same photos of Wendy. Only here, she's known as Angel. Our investigation may have forced the thieves to shut down the Wendy operation, but there's no way they're out of business. In the internet underworld, it's easy to set up shop under a brand new name with a brand new face. In fact, they're probably prowling those thieves' chat rooms right now.
So, how do you protect yourself? Well, you can start by checking your accounts more often for unfamiliar transactions. And remember to change your PIN and password regularly. For more tips, visit our website at dateline.msnbc.com.
We want to take just a moment tonight to mark a milestone here at Dateline. This week we are celebrating our 15th anniversary.
What we're really celebrating is the trust you've given us all these years, and for that we thank you.
We also want to thank all of the people who have let us into their lives, sharing their stories to try to make a difference. Hopefully together we have.
That's all for this edition of Dateline Tuesday. I'm Ann Curry.
And I'm Stone Phillips. We'll see you again for Dateline Saturday night at 8, 7 Central. For all of us at NBC News, good night.